Hi, everybody, and welcome to the webinar, to the workshop. This is Building Your Best 2020. It's about taking your vision for your business and your work from vision board to real. My name is Sarah Torpy. I am happy to be here with you all today. I'm so glad you joined me. I am a business coach at Torpy Coaching, and we'll talk more about what that actually means here in a little while, but you're here for more than that. All right, so just so that you have a little information, if you're here with me live, if you're new to Zoom, one of the things that you can do is share your thoughts and your questions and your ideas in the chat function. The way you find that is in your control bar up at the top. There's a little chat box. If you click on that, it'll drop down and you can talk to me. Oh, I should have pulled mine open actually, so that I have it. So I have it and I can see you. All right, I have mine. There we go. If you want to drop in and say hi, feel free. All right, so when we're talking today, what are we going to cover? The first is really like what a vision board is and why you should bother to make one. There's some really compelling reasons that vision boards are a tool for your business. Once we're there, we're going to talk about how to start and the kinds of things you include and what you actually do to build one. And then really how to use it, because it's fine and well to make a vision board. But if you don't do anything with it afterwards, it really didn't serve you. The exercise is lovely either way, but it should do more for you than that. Like, you don't buy a new car to take a trip to the store and never use it again. You want it to serve you more than once. All right, so a vision board is really a collection of images and words that represent your wishes, your goals, your dreams. A lot of people call them dream boards, and they're really intended to be an inspiration point, something that keeps you motivated, something that helps you keep your commitment to your goals. They really are about keeping sort of eye on the prize, so to speak, about keeping it in front of you, where you can look at it and go, oh, right, that's what I'm here to do today. So that's one of the reasons you need a vision board right there. The idea that you have the ability to see what you're working towards really makes a difference. When you have your vision in front of your face, it's just like anything else. If you leave cookies out on the counter, you eat cookies. But if you leave apples out on the counter, you eat apples. Your vision right in front of you, what you want your work and your life to be like, helps you get there. That picture helps keep you focused. So that's one of the reasons. The other is that, your human brain responds a lot more readily. Think about the things you remember from being a kid or the things you're more likely to remember now. If they come with pictures, you're more likely to retain it. I have a teaching degree, and we do all kinds of talk about that with kids and in education writ large. I teach college kids education things right now. So, when we talk about learning, when you have a picture of what you're trying to get to, or when you're building a picture that you're working with, it really makes a difference for how you see where you're going and what you're doing. That picture expresses more to your brain. It is easier for you to retain than 3 pages of text in your journal, than a list of 57 bullet points you want to achieve. You can turn it into a really compelling visual. It makes a big difference. So the other thing, though, is that sometimes goals are easier to put into pictures. Not all of them. Sometimes you have to be creative with how you represent a given goal, but it's really nice to be able to take an idea, like growth, for example, and put a picture on your vision board that really speaks to how you want your growth to be. Okay, so you need a vision board. At this point, you're like, okay, I really need to build this. Most people at this point get out their scissors and get crazy. But I find, as somebody who's done this a fair amount over the years and it's something I do with other people, I find it's really useful to think about some things before you start, to do some prep work. These are going to be some questions for you to think about. You don't have to have all the answers to them to make a vision board, but it helps to have given it some thought. The first one is, what do you love about right now? So there are things going on in your life and in your day, in your business, they're going well. In your vision board, it's useful to sort of think about what you want to retain and how you want to grow it. But to know what you want to keep and move, you have to have a sense of what's good in your day. It's not all broken. It never is. There's more good going on than you might give yourself credit for. Our brains don't think about what's going well. Our brains think about like all the things you feel like you didn't do. So it is useful to really think through what you have loved, what currently is working for you, and keep sort of a thought to that in your head. The second question is what your goals are. So you might be a goal person. I'm a goal person. Mine are very concrete. Mine are written out. Like, they are straightforward. One of my crazy goals this year is to have one-on-one conversations with 200 business owners. So, that's on my list and I keep a track of that. Maybe you have really specific goals related to your business. Maybe you don't yet. And that's okay. Either way you slice it, it's useful to think about sort of where you want to head, right? Because if you don't know the destination, it's kind of hard to build the map, right? If you go into Google Maps, it just doesn't give you whatever. You have to put in where you're going. The third question is about inspiration. So what really keeps you feeling half full rather than half empty, as I think of it? What inspires you to grow? Like, if I think about it, for me, it's getting to do interesting things with my kids. It's being outside. It's doing new and interesting things with clients. It's about seeing people grow, and students and clients, and watching them go like, oh, I get that now, and having things work that much better in their day. That's like magic. So those are the things that keep me moving. And you need to think about, the way that you are inspired. It's different for everybody. Another question is what you want your life and business to look like, say, a year from now, in the beginning of 2021, or whatever period of time, because your vision board doesn't have to be for a whole year. I really struggled to make mine for a whole year, 6 months, because I think, we all grow pretty fast when we put our minds to it. So, but it's useful to think about what that sort of future vision looks like. What do you want it to be? Are you trying to reshape the way you function in your office? Are you trying to, change your body or your lifestyle? Are you trying to change, the way your business goes in and out? All different kinds of things. But what do you want it to look like? How do you want it to function? And then the last question is, what would it look like truly if all the things in your plans, all the goals, all the dreams, all the wishes that you want to cram into this coming year, or whatever period of time, what would it really look like if those things came to be? If they actually all happened and you went like, here they are. What would your life look like? So this is the sort of you realized your goals, you realized your vision, now what? But it is what's your spot? How are you sitting? How does it look? So it is really useful to take some time and some energy and think very carefully about, the things that sort of underlie your vision, what you have going well, what you want to change, how you want to grow, where you want to get to. And from there, once you have a sense of those pieces, and you may not, again, have all the answers, and that's okay. You'll have some of them. You'll have enough, right? You can start to sort of collect. Excuse me. So for me, I sort of collect backwards and forwards. I collected things that were really if I had looked back at last year, at 2019, and I thought really hard about the things that stood out the most, there were some things that were life and there were some things that were business. We took our family to Disney. So towards the end of the year, that's on there because that was sort of something we'd had in our goals for a long time. That was years in the planning. We did a kitchen and I painted my shed, as you can see. And I am a color person, so you'll continue to see that through this training. I also really have dug into both of my businesses and growing them, and into my teaching, because I do that as well, and getting from sort of cluttered and busy to clear and organized and like moving forward. I also really feel like I've stepped into like the superhero version of myself a little better. And that's a little bit about last year. So then I get to think about what I want forward, right? You look at what's going well or what you loved, and then where you want to go. For me, I told you a minute ago, one of my goals is 200 business owners to have conversations with this year. Another is to be as incredibly valuable in every interaction as I can be. We have a place that we visit every year for vacation at the beach. I would like to spend more time there. I've recently told somebody that my real goal in life is to make my 1 week beach vacation into 2. I really aim to help other people get clarity in their businesses. So that's on the list, and to really grow my own, but also to grow my network, and to really connect to more and more people and be able to do more for them that way. So you might lay yours out like this. It might be words on paper. This is a vision board workshop. So it was useful for me to, make mine this way, and to actually have to represent it all in pictures is sort of an interesting thing, right? If you don't think visually all the time, it's a really useful exercise to take sort of your written thoughts and decide what it would look like in a picture. It sort of uses your brain in an unexpected way. And if you're really visual and you think in pictures, it's useful to then try to write that out and sort of reverse the case, so that you are sort of tapping into all the parts of your brain and how they think. So once you have sort of some thoughts and some organized, one of the things you should do next is decide how you're going to build. So you essentially have 2 choices. You can build digitally. That's what I did for this year's vision board for me. But you can also like bust out the magazines and the glue and the poster board and the scissors and the sticky tape and the glitter and build that way. That's what I've always done previous years, and that's lovely. But I think it takes sort of thinking about how you would do that before you start to collect stuff, because you want to sort of do one or the other. Hang on one sec. The sneeze is coming, and I want to sneeze at you. So if you're going to build digitally, for me, I built everything in Canva. But I know people that have built their vision boards in PowerPoint and just use sort of the design tools in there. If you're good at Photoshop or Acrobat, that would work. There's another one called PicMonkey that I know people use. Whatever design tool really suits you works. And honestly, like, you want to grab all your pictures and put them in a Word doc, that works too. However you want to build, it is totally fine. This is yours. So do it in the way that is going to serve you best. Once you decide, now you can start collecting stuff. Try not to be too much of a hoarder, because, it's not always useful for you to have everything. You don't want a mountain of stuff. But here are some of the kinds of things I think about when I collect. So, it doesn't want to click on there. I think about words and phrases that stand out to me as I work, or sort of like little blips of ideas that I've collected. I also think about places I want to go. Like, I have a dear friend, and we joke that we're going to meet in Paris for a week in 2024, because that's how long it's going to take us to schedule it. So, like, Paris 2024 people. So that's one of the things you might think about. That's not on this year's vision board for me, but it's going on the 2024 one. You can also think about themes. So by themes, I mean that, you did some pre-work, and it could be that you find similar ideas coming up over and over again. Maybe it's about growth. Maybe it's about mindfulness. Maybe it's about being more visible. Maybe it's about expanding your network and who you know and who you talk to and just making your circle wider. All of those things, sort of the ones that come up over and over again, are useful things to think of as a theme, right? You can also think in colors. For me, color really matters. For other people, it's not. So it depends on sort of how you relate to color and how it makes you feel. You're going to see a lot of yellow and green in what I do. You can also think about, I have to move my chat box, stances. So what I mean by stances is, like, as you see pictures of things, places, you'll think like, oh, I want to feel like that lady stood. I want to be more collective. I want to be more collaborative. I want to be more powerful and confident. The best way I can think of those things is in stances, is how you see people stand, how you see them like approach the world, and you can represent that visually. You can also think about spaces. Like you saw on my board in 2019, we did a kitchen. In 2020, we may well do a screened-in porch. We'll see. But it might be changing your office. It might be moving to a new building, depending on your business. It might be expanding where you are. It might just be like it is in here right now, controlling the chaos. If only you could see my desk. So it really is about thinking through where you are and how that physical space around you looks. You can also think about feelings. When I think about, pardon me, feelings that I want to carry in my vision board, it's about optimistic. It's about bright. It's about useful. It's about happy, right? So you may want to have a particular feel to sort of the overall vision board. You may want to convey those feelings to other people. They may be the ones you want to walk around with. It could be that you're trying to get rid of one. I've seen people with like no drama on their vision board. And then, sorry, my clicker keeps wanting to go. You may also like grab little affirmations that you tell yourself. It depends on how long they are and how much room you have on your vision board. And you also might think about places you want to go. This is less the destination and more about sort of the trip this represents. So is it going to a conference? Is it visiting new locations that you're going to do businesses? Is it about meeting business owners in your community? It can be any of those things. Just depends on what you do and how you do it, right? Okay. So this is my sort of inspiration collection. You can see yellows and greens always for me. I want to meet more and more new people. You saw my 200 goal. One of the things that I continually tell myself is that I'm aiming for progress rather than perfection. I don't need it to be perfect. I need it to be moving forward. And I think that that's something we all struggle with on some level. We want to be perfect, but that's not worth it. I want to be like this little girl, like a tiny little powerhouse. I want to teach more and more. I want to be outside more. I want to be a little more mindful. I want to be more conscious of the food. And then one of my other favorite sayings is that boiling water softens a potato but hardens an egg. And basically what it means, or at least to me, is the idea that boiling water as a tool does different things for different items that you put in it, right? So there is that tool, depends on what you do with it. What's right for you might not be right for me. What's right for me might not be right for you. It's a reminder sort of to do my version, just like you need to do your version. There are so many things out in the social media world, out on the internet, out in Facebook groups or LinkedIn that say to you, well, if you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. And more likely than not, that's just not true. And so we all need our own version of a reminder that like, hey, I know me and I know my business best. And the people I go to for advice or coaching or support know my business and can help me, but like the random strange guy that linked me in the other day and then proceeded to tell me I needed to take his fitness class, not so much. He's boiling an egg and I'm boiling a potato. So from here, there are a couple of really important tips. Once you start collecting, remember that you can't have it all. You can, but you really you're going to collect way more stuff than really needs to go on your vision board. You're not trying to make a vision wall, right? You don't want to have it to be a 26 by 46 poster board. You want to condense it. You want it to be clear. You want it to be coherent. You want it to make sense for you and be something you can achieve. So there is sort of a need to collect, but then sort of cull a little bit and go yeah, no, I don't need that. Yeah, no, I don't need that. These are the sort of main ideas and the main themes I want to stick with. From there, though, the thing to remember is there's no wrong way to do this. There just simply isn't. There's your way. There's my way. There's everybody here's way. But none of those ways are wrong. They're just yours or mine. Do you, just like you're boiling water. You can't do a vision board wrong. Okay, there's no bad version. And the last thought here is that, a vision board is 100% positive space. There is no room in your vision board for, oh my goodness, but do I think I'm really going to make that? Or, oh my goodness, I don't think that would work, or I have to get out of this thing. This is all about looking forward as if it's going to go perfectly, as if nothing stands in your way, okay? So you want to approach a vision board really from the, I'm going to get this done version of you, rather than the ooh, I don't know, is it going to work version of you. Don't question it, just do it. Let's see what it looks like, okay? So then you put it all together. For me, a vision board, depending on how I build it, might take a couple hours, maybe. It could be that you spend some time doing your pre-work over a couple of days, and then you collect for a couple of days, and then you put it all together. It depends on how, your day and your life and your time works. I would say my vision board this time around digitally took me a little longer because I was sort of playing with tools and different kinds of things and mushing around things. Plus I knew I was going to have to show it to other people, so it's prettier than it might have been normally. But I think it's important to give it the space it needs, but not angst over it. This should cause you no ill feeling. This is not at all meant to be an exercise in stress. You shouldn't feel worried about it. You should feel good about it moving forward. So if it takes you 10 minutes a day for a week or 2 weeks, then great. You get where you get, okay? So, oh, come on, mouse. All right, so here's mine. It's a little bit of things you've seen before, plus other things. I think sometimes you collect something, you're like, oh, that's the perfect picture. And she is my perfect picture. Everybody picks their word of the year. Mine for 2020 is B. Although now we're in February and I feel like I need to pick a new one because I feel like that one's going really well and I'm ready to move on, which may be an indicator of how my busy brain works. But you can see also on here some other things. It's still about teaching, but it's about playing from smaller to bigger. It's about talking to more people. It's about growing as a family and doing interesting things. It's about sort of finding some calm space and being connected. But also, I really think of business and life in general as one big grand science experiment. And I really think it's useful to think of it that way, because in a science experiment, the scientists try something, they do the experiment. If it fails, they don't go oh God, I'm never going to be made out for this. I have to give up now. They don't have a failed science experiment. And you go gosh, you're a terrible scientist. In fact, the time you would think they were a terrible scientist, that they gave up after the first try, right? So if you're treating it like a science experiment, you do the experiment, you see what happens, you try again, you try again, you try again, you adjust, you evaluate, you iterate. And life is like that. That's how we do every day. I also have a nonfiction book goal, which is a big deal for me because I like fiction a lot better. But I aim for one nonfiction book a month. So here's mine. Here's what happens. So you build yours, you took your time, you're there, you're like, go me, right? So you're finished. You're like, yep, I'm done. Check it off the list. Well, yes, but, right? Hang it up. Hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. If it's in Canva, they'll print it for you and you can pay for it to be printed. Or you can print it on your home printer. If you built it on poster board, super. Hang it up. We've all made a vision board at some point in our lives. Maybe you haven't. I have multiple times made a vision board and then put it in a closet. It didn't do me any good there. Did I take the time to make that vision? Sure. But did I really use it to help me? No. If you hang it up, it has the potential to serve you in so many new ways. Okay? So hang it up. So when we use it, what do we do with it? Well, you look at it. I know, I'm just saying. You look at it and you think about it and you think, okay, here's where I'm trying to go. Use it as a reminder, as a motivation, as an inspiration, as a commitment check. Is this what I'm still working towards? And here is the thing. Sometimes you're going to look at that and go not really. And you'll adjust. Or months from now, weeks from now, you might look at it and think not really where I'm headed anymore. And you can change it. A vision board can be a living tool. You can add to it. You can subtract it. You can circle things. You can put stickers on it. You can do what you need to do. But if you're looking at it regularly, you'll think about doing that. You'll keep looking at it and you'll think oh gosh, I should really add this. I should really take out that, or that got done. I'm put a gold star on there. And I have a teaching degree, so I feel like every teacher has to have a pile of gold star stickers on their desk, and I do. So it's really useful to actually use it as a way to pause yourself and think okay, am I where I'm trying to go? Am I headed in the right direction? You can also be much more direct about evaluating your choices with it. So as you're making decisions, big ones, small ones, all day long, if your vision board is somewhere where you can see it, you get to go okay, here's how I'm thinking of spending this time. If I spend this time this way, does it get me there? It's pretty easy to decide, right? Maybe, maybe not. If it's not clear, then do some more thinking on it and dig into it a little more. But it's really useful to go okay, I want to spend 2 weeks at the beach. If I spend the next 2 days messing around and, sort of doing the back end work on my business instead of getting out in front of people, is that getting me to the beach? Nope. Not getting me to where I want to be. Not getting me to talking to 200 new people. Okay? The other thing is you can use it to sort of embrace your future self. This sounds hokey, I know, but, I think of it as been there, done that, Sarah, right? The one who lives in that vision board world, she's been there, done that. So sometimes it's really useful to sort of embrace that future you. How does she feel? How does she deal with this problem? If I had achieved all those goals, what would I do in this situation? If that was my vision, if it was real right now, how would I respond to this email? How would I respond to this inquiry? How would I move about this day that has 400 things on it in only 4 hours? How would I move forward to that position, to the next position? So really stepping into like how that person feels, how you're going to feel when this is all there, makes a difference for getting to your vision. There's a couple of sort of underneath steps in your vision board. So you build it, great. You're going to use it and look at it regularly. You're going to use it to evaluate your decisions. You're going to sort of embrace that future feeling and hang on to it. But also, underneath there are more specific goals. Once you have the vision laid out, it's time to get more specific. For me, if I'm going to talk to 200 people, new business owners, this year, what does that really look like month to month? I can't talk to them all in December. Like if I start talking to them in December, I'm going to not sleep. It's a lot of people. So I need to think about specifically how I make that happen and the kinds of things I have to do. I also need to create measurements. So not like, I don't think of them as sticks, right? They're not something I'm going to use to be like, gosh, Sarah, you did a bad job. You didn't get that done. But they are sort of a way for me to see if I'm coming close, if I'm on track. So like in January, I was aiming for 18. I got pretty close. So it's a good measurement for me. So you want to create some checkpoints for yourself. For if I want to get to the beach for 2 weeks next year, what do I have to do quarter to quarter, month to month, day to day, week to week? How do I measure that? And the last thing in here is like, listen, you have to be relentless at this. Businesses grow because you are determined they're going to grow, because you are committed. Originally, when I did this slide, it said be ruthless. And like my husband looked at it and he was like, ooh, but really it's not ruthless. Like, don't be a bad person. I'm not telling you to like be mean to people. I'm telling you to be like ruthless in your evaluation, in your, willingness to look at your work and go, oh, you know what, that didn't work. That was a bad choice by me. Let me make a better choice next time. Be relentless in your ability to evaluate and really look at your own work and think about where you're going and what you're going to do next. Because you really have to be that way to move forward. You can't just be like focused on Tuesdays. It doesn't work. I wish it did, because I'd totally be off the rest of the week. So how do you do this? Well, here's the part where we talk a little bit about coaching, because it's going to be different for each of you. Everybody that's on here runs a different business. Everybody that's on here has a different vision. You're like delicious donuts in different flavors. Like everybody's preference is a little bit different. And what happens here specifically, like what your specific actions are, what the measurements are, how you really like keep at it, is going to be different based on you. And it should be entirely about you. Like at this point, it shouldn't be like, well, everybody should have the same goal. You don't have the same business, you don't have the same life. Having the same goal isn't really useful. So what I can offer you is to talk about your vision, your next steps, and moving from your business right now, what you see for it, to a new reality. It's really about your individual path. What you can do is, and should, I would love to talk to you. You know, I got goals in terms of people, is schedule a free 1-hour coaching call with me. So this is not an intro call. My intro calls are generally some coaching, but not a lot. They're more about how we would work together and the goals you have. But in this call, we are going to do it a little differently because you attended the webinar or were signed up for it. What I'm offering to you is a real coaching call, a free hour, where you're going to walk away knowing what to do next to start moving your vision forward now. So you're going to bring the vision, we're going to bring the work. And then it's also going to give you a sense of what coaching can do for you. Because I think we often think it's only for people with really big businesses, or only for people, in a certain sector, only for other people, when really it's for you. It's about growing what you have, and it is not out of your reach. So we work one-on-one. That's what I do with people. And walking away right now with some really concrete steps for what you need to do next would be lovely, right? There isn't a better way to move forward faster than working together, than working coaching. There just isn't, because what you get in coaching is me, devoting their brain to your work, which is kind of lovely, right? Like, this is not a mentoring relationship where I'm trying to build a portfolio of something. It's not a business buddy where I have my things that we have to work on and you have yours. This is your thing. And we put two brains to it instead of one. So how do you do this? Well, you go book online. It's pretty simple. I have a website, there's a tool there, but I get that not everybody's schedule is simple. Time zones are crazy. So if you look at there and you go oh gosh, I can't figure this out, or something doesn't work right, send a Facebook message, send a LinkedIn message, send an email. I'll give you that in a second. If you can't find a time and you can't quite grab onto it, like my friend the squirrel right here, let's talk. I'll be honest, I do most of my appointment booking either over Facebook or via LinkedIn or email. We use the online tool certainly, but I'm just as happy to have a quick conversation via one of those tools and set it up and make sure it's the right fit for you and get you what you need out of this hour. That's the whole idea. So if you are here live, you get a little longer for access to this opportunity for free coaching. You have until Wednesday. I'm going to look at my notes so I don't screw it up. If you're here live, you have until Wednesday, the 12th, which is a week from today, to book that call. It doesn't have to be by the 12th. You just have to have it on the calendar by then. If you are here watching the recording, you have until the 10th to book that free call, which is Monday next week. So if you don't book it before then, and you do book a call later, what we would do is a more traditional kind of intro call, less coaching, more understanding the work together, and really sort of getting into coaching once you're on board. I have a couple of spots to take people on right now. So, that's what you have as opportunity. So what you should do is book the real deal, spend a solid hour on your work coaching call sooner than later. Okay, questions. Let me look in the chat, see what there are for questions. Looks like we're in pretty good shape. Hopefully that's because I did a good job explaining things. You never know. Maybe you'll send me a question over email. So here are all the ways to get to me. I really work with women business owners at Torpy Coaching to get clear, get priorities under control, to get committed to really focused and purposeful actions that lead to growth. That's what we do. You have my website here. You can get me at Torpy Coaching online or on Facebook. There's the email. You can find me on LinkedIn. I would love to chat with you and connect with you there. Odds are I'll try to connect with you all on LinkedIn anyways, because that's my favorite place. And I really appreciate the time you spent with me today. I know that there are so many things going on and that there are plenty of other things you could be doing, because we all have a million of them. So this is going to be a little under the hour, and I'm cool with that. Hopefully you are too. I look forward to talking with you and getting a chance to hear about your vision and figure out together how you move forward from here, because that is what you get for signing up. You get to work. Okay. If you need me, you know how to reach out. In the meantime, Oh, come on, slides. Thank you. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your focus. I appreciate your willingness to reach out and try something new. And I look forward to being connected. Have a really good rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.